Stephen, you spoke last week after the win about making a semi-final not being good enough for this team.
Yep.
What are the keys to taking that next step, or why do you think you're not quite able to take that next step at the moment?
There's some specifics in the game that probably went against us. Some of that was our fault, some of that was the way the Blues played, and I thought they had a good game today. We had a few changes late today. We had second row pull out a couple of hours before the game. We had a front row pull out in the warm-up. And we showed a lot of good stuff out there, and we know that with all the distractions that we've had in the build-up to this week, 6-day turnaround, all that sort of stuff, we put a good performance out there, and we're not far away. We just need to be a little bit more consistent in everything we do. So that'll be our work on going forward is knowing that we've got a game there that is good enough if we're consistent enough, and we just weren't there tonight. Do
you feel like they stunned you at all at the start when they collectively sort of went bang, 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 a couple of failed restarts on your end? Did they stun you a little bit, put you on the back foot early?
I didn't notice it from a forwards perspective. I thought we finished out that half quite strongly, and then started the second half quite well. We missed an opportunity in that second half to put points on, which would have brought us within 7 points, which would have changed potentially the momentum of the game. They certainly started well. Their kickoffs were good, contestable, and then a couple of those passages that they had at the start of the game where they went multiple passages and scored tries. That was typical Blues rugby, and it was impressive to watch, but equally we didn't start the way that we wanted to start in that area.
No, I was just going to say, what was your assessment of what you ran into out there?
I'd probably just go off the back of what Bernie was saying. It was just probably the start of the game. Probably needed to be a little bit more clinical with our kick-off receipt. It was Parafeta hit him well. Then they got the ball in their half, and then we're just having those strong ball carries around the ruck. I thought when they got those balls back and then came away with 3 tries, then it probably hurt us. But I knew that there's a strong fight in the team, and we showed that through the back of the first half, and then we threw everything at them at the start of the second half. But just couldn't come away with the try. So I think if we do that, then it's a whole different ball game.
Allan, you wouldn't be the first team that struggled with the defence this year. Just how hard was it?
I think obviously when they're getting dominant carries, it's probably hard to try and slow their ball down. Which then again, it just comes down to us giving them the ball in that area of the field. So again, like the reason they got that was through our mistake, and we needed to be better to adjust to that and to move on. They do have some strong ball carries in their forward pack.
But their defence as well, attacking. I mean, you made them make a lot of tackles in that third quarter.
We knew that our attacking game has been strong. Part of our game further back into the season, especially in and around the ruck, the pick and drive, and really lent on that. But they showed through a strong defensive effort that they were able to hold us out there in the beginning of the second half.
Stephen, we don't know who they're going to play in the final, but they'll obviously be hard to beat in the final. What will make them hard to beat the Blues? What are their strengths they take in as they look for a first title in 21 years?
Oh, they had a few changes this week as well in their second row. But this year they've shown really good maul, really good scrum, and that power game with their carry, one off the ruck, forwards, backs, joining in with a bit of pick, the nine sort of picking up and just powering through the defences on the inside there. They've all been strengths of their game, and then defensively, one of the strongest teams in all aspects defensively. They're very well drilled. They're big bodies. They're going to be hard to beat, no doubt about that. Particularly in conditions like tonight. It wasn't actually that wet out there, was it? But the ball was a little bit slippery, and there was a bit of rain before the game. But when you get those conditions on this surface and those big bodies coming at you, it's pretty hard to stop them. So I think they're coming in to the final with good form. We thought that we were a bit of a chance with some of their changes this week, but the guys that have come in and stepped into those shoes have done a really good job. And all the aspects of their game that we saw through the season in terms of strengths, scrum, maul, ball carry and defence were there tonight.
It's often said about the Brumbies over the years that you know what's coming, but stopping it's the hard part. Is a bit the same with the Blues. You kind of know exactly what you're going to get, right? But stopping it's difficult.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying at the start of the game there. We missed a few opportunities to get good tackles on, and once they get momentum, they're pretty hard to stop, like particularly when they've been drilled. The way that they've been drilled, we've seen it all season, that if they get a little bit of momentum with one carry, they're quickly into that breakdown and just picking and going straight through there, and it's hard to get a stop on that after that. So, yeah, very impressive side. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the game tomorrow. Who wins that one, we'll probably... Well, we were hoping the Chiefs were going to win, because then that would have allowed us to have a home grand final, which ultimately makes it a lot harder for the opposition team. We had to travel, come over here on a 6-day turnaround. We get in after 12 o'clock on Wednesday night with a shortened training session on the Wednesday. It's pretty tough. It's all part and parcel of the competition. Would have been good for us if we'd gotten through this game to play the Chiefs next week, because I would have had to come to Canberra.
Stephen, you guys, I guess, flew the flag for Australian rugby to make in Sydney. What's your general assessment of Australian rugby? Is that it might be hard with the head in the Brumbies at the moment, but if you step back and it's a bit of a tumultuous some of the Rebels, but just generally, how do you feel Australian rugby striking?
I've been impressed with the top 3 New Zealand sides this year. I think they've been very detailed. They've been really good at what they do. Even the Crusaders were starting to get a bit of run on back into the season, so there's a lot of talent over here. From an Australian perspective, I thought we had a better season as an Australian franchise, as Australian franchises in the Super Rugby competition. I thought we showed up a lot better. I was very impressed with the way the Reds started the competition. I think the Rebels also showed a few people that there is a bit of talent in Australia. They surprised a few teams, so particularly the 3 teams that got through to the finals. They've shown some really good footy this year, and certainly taken a step up from last year. So, yeah, whilst there's an improvement in Australian rugby, I think there's also been a really strong improvement in New Zealand rugby. So, the big tests every year are the All Black tests, the Bledisloe Cups, and I guess we'll get a bit of an indication of how far Australia's come when those matches come around.
Allan, from an up-close and personal situation, whether it's the Chiefs or the Hurricanes, what's it going to take to beat the Blues in the final?
Yeah, as Bernie mentioned, like they've got a strong set piece. So you've got to be able to take him there, but then also be able to dominate collisions in and around the ruck. They're happy just to play in like a random type of structure where they just get their ball carriers over the game line with one pop off the ruck, and it works for them. So yeah, I think you've got to be able to take him that set piece, but then also win the tight battle in and around the ruck.